What's up YouTube? Welcome back to another edition of Coding with Robbie. My name's Robbie, and in this video we're going to be building the card game memory, also known as concentration, and nothing but HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So this is a great project if you just learned the basics of JavaScript and you're looking to build something. It's pretty simple, and let me show you what we're going to be building. So here's the completed game, and basically you just try to match the cards until you get them all. So that's 5 and 5, they stay face up. And then it's keeping track of our guesses, and you just keep going. So let me try to get them all real quick. Like that, and when you get them all, you win, and it'll reset itself, and you can play again. And yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, let's start by creating a folder on our desktop, and we'll call it memory. And then I'm going to open up VS Code and drag that folder in to open it. So now I'm in the memory folder. Let's create the files we're going to need. We're going to need an index.html. We're going to need a style.css. And we're going to need a scripts.js. So create those, and then let's create a folder for our images. We'll just call it images. And then let's download some images. So if you go to Google and you search for playing card images, there's a good one right here. I'll link it in the description. But you can come here and download the zip right here. So I already got it downloaded, so I'm just going to go to it. And you get a folder like this with a ton of playing card backs, and then the fronts, which is all the different numbers and suits. So we're just going to be doing a game with 4 cards, so 2 pairs. So we really only need 2 unique card images. So let's go to the folder, and I'll just do clubs 2 and 3. And I'll drag it into images. And then we need a card back. So let's go back here, and I'll go to backs, and I'll do red.svg. So I'll drag that in. And now I got all the files I'm going to need. So let's just close everything, and then let's go to index.html and just type an exclamation mark, and you'll get a shortcut where you can generate all this boilerplate code. So here's our HTML. Let's link up our style sheet. So in the head we'll go link rel is equal to style sheet, and then href is equal to, and then a path to the file, so it's // since it's relative, style.css. And then let's link up the scripts file at the bottom right before this closing body tag. So let's go script src / and select scripts.js. There we go, everything should be linked up. So let's start building our game board. So I'm just going to start with a div called class cards. And this is going to house our 4 playing card images. So let's go img src, and it should start with the card back. So mine is red.svg. So /images/red.svg. And then I'm going to give this class card. There we go. We should have 1 card on the screen. Let's try that out. I'll go in the folder and double click index.html. It's going to open it in Chrome. And there we go. I got my playing card. So let's copy that a couple times. So 2, 3, and 4. So we should have 4 playing cards now. And we do. So let's make it a 2x2 grid. So I'll go in my CSS file. I'll go .cards. And let's go display grid. And then let's go grid template columns. And we're going to want to repeat. And we want 2 columns of 1 FR, which kind of just splits the available space evenly. And then let's put a 20 pixel gap between each card. So let's go back and refresh. We get 2x2, but the cards aren't expanding the full width of the column, so let's fix that. So we just go to the top and we'll select images, and we'll go width 100%. So that should fix it. There we go, but now it's gigantic. So let's limit the width of the cards div. So I'll just go max width. I'll just do 300. So we can see everything on one screen. There we go, and then let's just center it. So we can horizontally center it with margin 0 auto. So there we go, our game board looks pretty good, and we can start writing our JavaScript. So let's go in scripts.js, and the first thing we're gonna do is just make an array of card objects. So let's go var cards is equal to an array, and then it's gonna be an array of objects which will each have a value, which is equal to the value of the card. So we're doing a 2, so let's put the string version of 2 right there. And then we'll also store the image URL. So let's go image, and it's ./images/clubs_2.svg. Just like that. So we got one card. Let's do it for the 3 also. 3 and 3. And then each one of these 2 cards needs a match. So let's just copy it. So we have 2 of each card in this array. So that looks good. And just one thing to note, I did a string here instead of a number because in a deck of cards we might have a king, which is not a number and would create issues. So we're doing strings. So we got our 4 cards here, and now we need to shuffle them. So we could try to figure out how to write a shuffle function, but I think it's easier just to Google it. JavaScript shuffle array, and we get this answer right here, which has a beautiful function for us to use. So let's copy that, and I'm just going to throw it at the top of our scripts file, and I'll minimize it and maybe go helper functions, and then I'll put a comment where our code starts. There we go. So we created this array of cards, and now we're going to shuffle it. So we're going to run the function we just copied over, and we just pass it an array, and our cards is an array, so we can go like that. And now the order of this should be randomized. So next up, what we should probably do is make it so when we click a card, it'll flip it over and show the correct image. So to do that, we have to add an event listener on each one of these 4 cards. So we can select all 4 of those elements by going var card else is equal to document.querySelector all, and then we just give it a selector. So we want to get .card, which all 4 of the cards has. So just like that, let's check this out in console to see what it's doing. So I go here, if I open up console and I paste that in, you can see it's returning a node list with all 4 of those elements. And that acts similar to an array, so we can loop over it and do stuff. And then if I just did query selector without the all, it would select the first one on the page. So we have an error here, reference card is not defined, scripts line 28. So right here I should have put cards instead of card. So there we go. And now let's loop through that node list and add an click event listener to each card element. So let's go down here and we'll just go card else dot for each, and this gets a function which receives the element that it's on and then the index position of that element. And then for each L we want to go add event listener, and we want to listen for click events, and when someone clicks on a card it's going to run our function here. So for now, let's just go console.log, index, and L. So let's go back to Chrome, and now I click this one. I go to console, and you can see it's index position 1, and that's the element. If I click this, index position 3, 0, and so on. And what's cool about that is we can figure out which card they clicked, because this index position we can use to select in this cards array. So we can go var clicked card is equal to this cards array at the index position of the card they clicked. And then let's console.log that. Click card. And now I go back here and I click one and I go, hey, oh, that's the 2, and here's the image URL. That's the 2 also, here's the image URL, here's 3 and 3. And the order should be different every time since we're shuffling that array. So we get 3, 3, 3. I'm getting lucky. 3, 3, 2. There we go. 3. So it is shuffling it. So cool. So now we want to show the image. So to do that, we can just change the src on the element. So this part right here to be the image URL of the one they clicked. So to do that, we can just go. So this is the element they clicked. We can go l.setAttribute. And we want to change the src attribute, and we want to change it to clicked card, which is one of these 4, .image, which is the URL. And that should do it. Let's try it out. So I click, and it now flips it over. So now the next thing we got to do is on the second card they click, we got to check if it's a match or if it's not a match. So to do that, really right now we don't have a way to tell if they're on their first click or their second click, so we're going to have to create some global state to keep track of that. So let's go up here and let's just create a variable called first guess. and it'll be equal to null by default. So if it's equal to null, we know they haven't made a guess yet. And then this is going to store the index of their first guess. So once someone clicks a card, we're going to go first guess is equal to the index of the one they clicked. And then when they click again, this will be equal to 3 or whatever they clicked. And we'll be able to use that to check if they're on the second guess or the first. So let's go up here. We'll go if first guess is equal to null, then store the guess. Otherwise, we're gonna check if it's a match. So let's just put some alerts in here. We'll go first guess and second guess. So let's go back to Chrome, and I click one, I get first guess. I click another one, I get second guess. And then at that point, it should check if they match and then either leave them face up or flip them back down. So if it's the second guess, we're going to be in this block right here. So what do we want to do in here? Well, first, we're going to want to flip the card regardless. So let's move this up top. And then if it's our second guess, we got to check if it's a match. So to do that, we can get the two card objects from the first guess and the current one. So the first guess would be cards, brackets, and then we put in the index of the first guess. And then let's get the value property. And we want to check if that's equal to cards index, which is the current guess, dot value. And if these two are equal to each other, we know we have a match. So let's do an if statement, wrap that condition right there. So it's a match, and then otherwise, no match. Let's just do some alerts to try that out. So let's go match and no match. So let's go back to Chrome, we'll refresh, I click one, I click a second one, I get match, and they do match. Let's try it again. I get no match, and they don't match. So that's working. So now we kind of have to do different things depending on the outcome. So if it's a match, well, we're going to leave them face up so we don't really have to do anything with the cards. And then they're going to start their next turn after that, so we have to reset first guess. So let's go first guess is equal to null again. And then I think that's it for now. And then if it's not a match, we want to flip them back both over. So to do that, we can kind of do the same kind of thing, but instead of cards, we'll be getting the elements. So we can go card, else, and then we want to get the element at the first guess index position. So this is equal to the image tag. And we want to change the SRC back to the back image. So to do that, cards L, first guess, and then we did it before. It's set attribute. We want to change the SRC attribute and set it to be equal to this card back image again. And then we got to do the same thing for our current guess, the second guess. So we use index. Index, so that should flip them back over, and then we want to reset first guess so it starts a new turn. So let's delete the alert and see if that works. I'll go back. I go boom, boom, and they didn't match, so it happened so quick we didn't even get to see the card. If I click matching ones, they'll stay up. So let's fix that problem where it like flips over instantly and we can't even see the card. So to add a little delay in JavaScript, you can use set timeout. This is a built-in function, and the first argument is a function that we want to run. So we'll just do an anonymous function. And the second argument is the delay in milliseconds. So if we did 1500, that'd be a second and a half. So let's do that, and then after a second and a half, we want to run all this. So let's go back and try it. And now, okay, those matched. If I get ones that don't match, it waits a second and a half and then flips them over. So we pretty much have a functioning game, but we have some bugs. So one, say I get a match. On my next turn, I can click the face-up cards and create issues. And then another issue is we can just click them all super quick, and it creates problems. And then the what other issue do we have? I can click the same card twice, and it's not checking for that. So we're going to fix all these. So let's start with clicking the same card twice. So here's our click event listener right here. When someone clicks, it runs all this. At the very top, let's just make sure they're not clicking the same card. So we can go if index, which is their current guess, is equal to the first guess index. Well, then we know they're clicking the same card. So in that case, let's just go alert invalid guess and just return early so it doesn't run anything below that. So let's go back. And now we can't click the same card. We get invalid guess. And then the next one was clicking face up cards on your second turn. So like that. So to do that, we kind of have to keep track of which cards are flipped over. So let's add a new property to our cards objects. We'll just go in here and we'll go matched, and they'll all be equal to false by default. And then if we go down here, right here is where we're doing the match stuff. So if that's the case, we want to set those properties to true. So we can go cards first guess dot matched is equal to true. And then the same for index. So when they do get a successful match, both of those properties up here will be set to true. And then up here where we're checking for invalid guesses, we'll add another condition. So if it's the same card, or if cards index dot matched is equal to true, then don't allow that to count as a guess. And then we can just shorten this like that. So let's try that. So now I get a match, and then I click it again, I get, hey, you can't do that. And then it continues. So the last issue we have is you can just click them all super quick and cheat. So to fix that, we're gonna create a new global variable. We'll call it var can guess is equal to true. And then let's go here and let's go, hey, another condition when you can't guess is when you go if no can guess. So if that variable is equal to false, just say invalid guess and return. And then down here, so it's happening because of that delay. So right here, we're gonna go can guess is equal to false. So as soon as they get to this part, it's gonna not allow them to guess anymore. And then once this little delay finishes, we'll set it to true again so they can continue playing. So can guess is equal to true. There we go. So let's try it, boom, 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 and now I can't keep doing it. So that's a functioning game, and now I think the next thing we want to do is make it so when we beat the game it resets and we can play again. So let's create a new function, and we'll just call it reset game. And then this function should just basically reset all the state and start a new game. So let's take these two variables, we'll just change them back to their initial values, so null and true. And then we got to shuffle the cards again, so let's go shuffle cards. And then before we do that, we got to flip them all face down again. So let's go card else dot for each. This is going to get a function that receives the individual element and its index position. And we just want to go l.set attribute. We're changing the src. We're changing it back to that card back image, which is ./images/red.svg. All right, so we're changing those back to the initial values, flipping them all face over, and then or face down, and then shuffling the cards, and they can start playing again. So let's try that out. Well, actually, it won't work yet. We're not running this function. So let's go in here, and we got to check to see if the person won. So we'll do that within the correct guess if part. So down here, we should check for win and reset if so. So how can we check for a win? Well, it would be if all four of these have the matched property. But I think kind of a simpler way to do it would be to just create another global variable. We'll call this flipped cards. It'll be equal to 0 by default. And then when they do get a match, so right here's the match, it should increment that 2 times. So let's go flipped cards plus equal to 2. And then down here, if flipped cards is equal to cards.length, which is the array of card objects. If those are equal, we know they're all matched already. And we should run our function, which is reset game. So let's go back and try it. And we go 3 and 2 doesn't match, 3 and 2 doesn't match, 2 and 2 matches, 3 and 3 matches. And then it reset the game instantly. So we didn't even get to see that we won really. And we're getting an invalid guess again. So let's fix those. So right here, let's add a little delay. We'll go to the function. And let's make it so they can't guess up here. So can guess. It's going to be equal to false. And then we'll add another delay. So set timeout. Function. And we'll do a 2-second timeout. And then we'll run all our stuff right here. And then we have a new variable that we have to reset. It's this flipped cards. So let's reset that also. And let's see if that fixes everything. So let's go back. 2 and 2, 3 and 3. At 1, it shows it for 2 seconds. And it flips it back over. And now still get an invalid guess. So let's try to figure that out. So we get invalid guess when index is equal to first guess, which we're resetting. So we shouldn't be getting that. Oh, we have to reset these matched properties. So that's what we're missing. Let's go down here. And let's just go card Ls again. For each. Sorry, we're not doing the elements. We're just doing the card objects. So cards.for each function. And that gives us the individual card and its index position. And we just want to go card.matched is equal to false again. Let's see if that fixes it. We'll go back. And they don't match. Wait a second, flip back over. They match, wait 2 seconds. Start the game over. They should be shuffled again. And I can play again. So that's cool. That's the game. It's pretty much built. The rest is just adding, I guess, some polish to it. So maybe you wanted to add a reset button that you can hit at any time. You could do that. So let's just go button ID is equal to reset. Reset game. And then let's add a click event listener to this. Let's go to scripts. And I'll just go document.query selector. And we want the reset button. Add event listener. We want to listen to clicks. And then when someone clicks it, we want it to run our function, which runs reset game. Let's see if that works. So say I get halfway through and you know what, I don't want to play anymore. I can reset it and it doesn't work. So what's going on with that? I did clicks instead of click. There we go. Let's try it. And, you know, I get halfway, I'm bored, I click it and it resets the game. It does not work. Interesting. Try one more time. I'm kind of stumped by this. Let's see. Okay, I click reset. So I just wasn't waiting long enough because there's that 2-second delay. Let's see. 1, 2, flip. All right, there we go. It is working. And then maybe we want to keep track of how many guesses. So let's just wrap this in a header. And maybe we just have like a big heading that says memory game. And then let's do another heading that says guesses. Let's do a span ID is equal to guesses. We'll set it equal to 0 by default. And let's make it so every time they take a turn, it increments this. So let's go to our CSS. Let's select header. Let's just go text align center. And let's add a little space below. It's a margin bottom 30 pixels. Refresh, and now let's add the guesses thing so it works. Let's go into our scripts, and every turn, so we know they completed a turn when they're in this else and it's their second guess, so this should increment a variable we're going to create called guesses. It'll be equal to 0 by default, and then yeah, on their second guess every time it'll go guesses plus plus to increment it 1. And then it'll update that element in our HTML, which was ID guesses. So let's go document.query selector. We'll select the guesses ID, and then we'll change its text content to be equal to guesses. Let's see if that works. So boom, boom. It took me one guess, so I beat the game in 2. I try again, I gotta make sure to reset that. So let's go guesses, go in the reset game function, and try it again. Boom, boom, matches, boom, boom, matches, reset. Why didn't that change? I didn't change the element too. So let's, we're gonna have to do this again in reset. We'll go right here. So 4 guesses that time, and now it's back down to 0. All right, and then real quick, I just wanted to show you how to add some additional cards. So if we did want to do that, we could just copy some more images. So let's go back to that folder. I'll just copy 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we can add them right here. So let's add a few more. Let's go 4, 5, 6, and 7. 4, 5, 6, and 7. 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we need duplicates of all those. So let's make sure we have 2 of each. And that makes a total of 12 cards. So we have to make sure to have 12 card elements right here. So that's 4, 8, 12. And that should be it. Let's make sure that works. I'll go back here. And now I have more cards. Maybe we want to alter that grid. Let's go back. And let's see. Let's do 4 by 4 or 4 by 3. And let's make it a little wider. We'll go 700. Let's see if that did it. There we go. And let's see if it works. Oh, I got lucky. Lucky twice. 5 and 5, 6 and 6, 3 and 4, 3 and 3, and 4 and 4. And it works. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Oh, like and subscribe, and leave a comment. Tell me if you liked the video. Tell me what you want to see next. And yeah, thanks for sticking with me. Peace.